Hello, everyone. Welcome to the OK Copy podcast. Today, we are joined by Sandrine Charles, founder of Sandrine Charles Consulting SCC, as well as co-founder of Black in Fashion Council. Welcome, Sandrine.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I feel like this is our first time in a lot of years of seeing each other and having time to actually sit down together.
And chat, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that because I feel like we're always having...
checking in.
We're always checking in, but yeah,
but
it's great to see you.
Yeah.
IRL.
Real life.
Giving me some time on your calendar.
This calendar.
On this calendar. So we'll get into that.
Yes.
But I always like to start with let's just talk about your journey and how you got here. I think we first met almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
Both still working for other people.
Yes, both so young.
Still young.
Yeah.
Still firecrackers.
Still.
Not taking anything from anyone. I feel like that was what we initially bonded over as we were doing. It was a Beats by Dre.
It was,
project,
yeah,
right?
it was. And it was it was a long time ago. But I think for us, and what I think what bonded us together was the fact that we were hardworking, and it was a time before everyone created their own thing. Mm-hmm. So we were just trying to figure out what that looks like for us.
Yeah, and what our voices were.
Yeah.
And then we found them.
Yeah.
So, but even before then, take us back. How'd you get into communications and PR? What kind of led you down this path?
It was in college. My godmother brought me to a concert, and I was like, oh, how do the people at the front door know you guys are? How do they know everyone's name? And she told me PR, and I did some research, and I was actually pre-law when I went to school, and then I shifted to communications.
Nice.
So I did internships throughout the rest of college, and, thankfully I got a job, then, lost my job, recession, then, started interning again. Mm-hmm. And I just kept being active and figuring out my flow, which led me down to being a director of North America before leaving and thinking I was taking 6 months off, but actually started building my company.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've had your company now for
7 years.
7 years.
July, 7 years.
Wow.
I know.
And tell us a bit more about SCC and what you do.
So
for the people that don't know.
Sure. We're a full service comms agency. We also do events, activations, influencer engagement, and also partnerships. We have a showroom in New York as well as LA. And we work across the spectrum of fashion, lifestyle, beauty.
Okay. And so for people that don't know, how does communications and what you do kind of play into that marketing, creative marketing, and production role? Because even when we work together, I was in production, you were in communications. How is that intertwined, and how do you view that even now in the work that you do?
I mean, a lot of our work comes from either, the marketing team primarily, or a publicist in-house, or production company that's working on a project and we elevate it. And it definitely helps because we're the storytellers,
right?
Or we're just enhancing what's already packaged up. So I love that aspect. I like the storytelling part still to this day. There are a lot of elements that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. But thank God there are people who are learning to do those parts of the business. But yeah, I really do like the storytelling part. And I think that's why I still have an affinity for what I do.
Right. And when you started, always independent, right? You didn't have any partners?
No partners.
Okay.
But I also fell into it. It was my first big client was a referral from an editor. And at that point I had my LLC because I was going to freelance. And I was like, oh my God, now I need a company.
Yeah.
And then my first intern was a referral from Hypebeast. And then my finance at the time was a friend of mine I've known since college. Then my lawyer. And so it's wow, everything is coming into play pretty seamlessly. And then by the fall, we had 5 clients after some projects over the summer.
Was it the moment where everything started to fall into place that you kind of recognized that you were on the right path, doing what you are supposed to be doing?
I just figured if it's happening seamlessly, then the hard work prior to is coming into fruition because all I could think about is oh my God, staying at work. And that didn't change.
Yeah.
It's just the fruits of my labor changed for sure.
And because you came out swinging with top-notch clients from the beginning. What has it been like to be able to keep up a roster of clients, and how do you go about that?
I think honestly, I like working with brands that want to work with me. That's always been my ethos. I don't want to fight. I don't want you to like sign with someone else and then get me and you're not happy. And I think coming from big box agency, sometimes you just don't know what's coming onto your roster until it's in your lap. I have really good relationships with clients, old and new and still existing. Like definitely very much a family feel with the majority of them. So that's what I enjoy. I feel like your comms person should be integrated. You guys should have a better relationship than just do the work, goodbye.
Transactional.
Yeah, it's, you know, and if it's transactional, that's cool too. But I do like having actual relationships with people where I can say, hey, I need to take a couple of days off.
Right.
You know, I'm a little burnt out. The team got you, but like, I'll be back. You're in good hands. And they trust me versus like, oh, you're taking off. How dare you take off? Right. Like, you know, that's a great balance.
How dare you be sick?
Yeah. How dare you be sick? How dare you need surgery? How dare you need your tooth pulled? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just really, it makes me want to come back to work because I am a little bit more positive about jumping back in.
Right. And so with your relationships, that also led you to start Black and Fashion Council?
It did not necessarily.
No? Okay.
No.
How did we get here? Because it was amazing to see, but I've always been curious as to like what led you to start it.
Yeah, like during that time period, I feel like we're all on Instagram. We're all home. We're all day drinking and and house partying at night. And a constant thread. Lindsay and I have always been friends. We were friends way before that. But I saw her stories and I saw like what I was posting and what other friends were talking. So like I hit her up on the side, like, I can't believe this is still a conversation. Like I was included in her story for The Cut where she interviewed dozens of Black professionals on their experience being Black in fashion. And we were just talking about it and, you know, what we hope to see. And we started rallying, you know, our peers. We did Zoom conversations with tons of people. We were having conversations with people, just seeing how they were, how things are going, etc. And then in the midst of one of the conversations, someone mentioned, oh, this should be like, you know, a council. And it soon developed to like Black and Fashion Council, and we figured out the boards and what our initial initiatives would be. Someone shared the information of the council before we could. And so it sped up the announcement for us. Not in a bad way, as I'm sure they might have thought it was going to be, but it was actually positive because we were able to just rally not only our troops, our peers, but like our network. And our network has definitely came out blazing. We have done a lot for designers. We're in our 8th season with IMG. We have different partnerships where we're able to give designers money. We also have a directory with Color of Change. So it's a great database for brands to use instead of usually, you know, the usual suspects. And so many people have grown out of that initial scope of work that they had as a creative, and they're doing bigger things. And they're like, have you heard of these people? Like, these are great people. So that's great that we get to interact with them, and other projects we've done or experiences we're trying to create for different creatives so that they have newer networks or outlets to participate in. So I really do enjoy the work we do at the council.
Yeah, I enjoy really watching the work that you guys do. And we got to be a small part of the IMG MailChimp series. Amazing product that came out of it. The designers were elated by the experience and by the support, and continued to sing your praises. So it was great to see it fully realized.
We're happy to see that. MailChimp were great partners, and I think that's the difference. We want brands and companies who want to give back to these designers as they continue to grow, give them opportunities.
Care.
Care. Like, here's some money. We know you need it to do the next phase of your business or the next part of this plan. So that's always been the outstanding in this course of work.
Yeah. And so when you mention creatives, again, for people that don't know, Black and Fashion Council represents a variety of creatives within the fashion industry. Can you spill a little bit more about that?
So we work with different categories.
Okay.
We don't represent anyone officially, but we have over 100 brands that we interact with within the council umbrella that do different programming, from Tresemme, that have it's like I would say it's a foundation for budding hairstylists and the winners. They put them through school so that they are accredited to do bigger and better things. Nice. They have a great board of judges. Fred Siegel, which Kingsley won the first series, did a similar type of platform where there are judges, and it's his first foray into the retail store. So we definitely work with brands to find moments and opportunities to help them.
And for all creatives, so designers, hairstylists.
It depends on the category where it would be a mirror or a marriage between brands. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And what is one job that you would say, whether it was with SCC or with building BIFC, that tested you the most, that became a big learning leap or steep hill that you had to overcome to get to the end, whether it was building BIFC, which it sounds like there was a moment where someone tried to out you and you guys had to jump over that. But what are some other times that were very challenging that I feel like it's always good to share? Because sometimes people see what we're doing, it all looks glittery and glamorous, and don't necessarily understand some of the hills that had to be climbed.
Yeah, I think just entrepreneurship in general, it's a hard hill to climb. And though we all just share our highlight reels or the good parts, I'm like, I don't have time to record myself pitching. I don't have time to record myself making Excel sheets. But it's ever evolving, and it's a learning experience. It's learning all of the business codes and the legal background in different states and different projects and different initiatives, and that's it's a lot. And I don't have partners, so that's another thing. It's still me and then my amazing team, and a great back of house structure, but it's still a lot. You need to know everything, and it's bigger than just doing things just to do them, or showing up places just to show up, because it's your livelihood. And I'm reminded every day that it's my livelihood.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't slip up.
Yeah.
Right. You were one of the first people that I know that really had, you mentioned backup house, but really had your backup house structure down, from the very beginning. How did that come about?
Well, I think I have to give credit to the last two agencies I worked at, where I was a director. So I had to interact with a lot of the back of house, and sitting with accounting or learning what they needed in terms of new biz, what were my projections. That helped me to set the tone for what I was expecting to do. It wasn't just okay, I just want to make this amount of money. It's but you have to pay people.
Right.
Everybody has to get paid. You have to save. You also need to secure some funding for your retirement. This isn't forever. I mean, for some people, that's fine. You do it till 65. Right. I don't foresee that.
It's very odd how selfish the networks and studios are being.
Yeah.
Considering how much money
they're making from these people. And if these people don't get to the pen to paper, then there is nothing to promote. And I think that's the part that I'm why would you want them to get back to work?
Exactly.
Give them something so that, they feel secure enough to get back to work safely.
Yeah. But I do know that when it happened in 2008, we got reality TV. And so I'm what is it that they're working on, or that they're counting on, that they believe will keep the...
But the streaming is just owning the movies, the big box studios aren't doing what Netflix and Hulu or even Amazon.
Right.
And so these writers are literally writing for The Bear. I read about one of the writers.
Hulu.
And they just, now that Hulu has that acquisition or whatever the partnership is, that they run the program simultaneously, how that has changed. But if it was just normally FX or normally on ABC,
there'd be no issue.
Yeah.
They'd be paid accordingly.
Yeah. And I think that they should get a little... I really think they should get a piece of the pie.
I do.
I it's just streaming.
Yeah.
And if it helps them in the long run to sustain and, the course of the economy, then why not?
Why not invest in your community? You know?
A lot of people don't want to.
But your community is everything. I guess we'll start to see the outcome in like 6 months of
But why?
Yeah.
That's holiday. Like, to think that like some of those people might not have a place to live.
Yeah.
Cars to drive.
Yeah.
Because they're just fighting for the bare necessities of their role.
Right.
It's crazy in 2023.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
And I read something about an executive said that they will continue until
They're like people lose their home apartments.
Sick.
It is sick. I mean, it is a sick world, and we can't change it from where we're sitting. And that's the thing I'm constantly thinking about whenever I'm like, okay, this is happening, but they're at the top. I don't have that money. I don't have that power.
Right.
I can't help them. So it's like, we were talking about earlier about the TikTok thing. Like, I would love to give these kids whatever. I would have wanted that too at that age, but it's not realistic. It's not how the industry is working. So how can I do that? And why would I want to put myself in a position that I can't win? Yeah. Because I'm overcompensating or whatever. Right. But we'll see.
But I think a lot of that, when we're talking about salary ranges and ask, also sometimes comes with being uninformed of how a company works. And so, or where a company sits, and because they see you have big name clients.
Or there's things you have in normal life that they don't know where it came from.
Right.
Do you have a tendency to just go, oh, you're wearing that bag, or you have that bracelet, so you must be able to give me this.
Right.
And it's just, okay, where did it come from? Was it me? Was it a gift?
You don't know.
Was it inherited?
Right.
Yeah, like, no. Don't think about the exterior optics. Like, think more so, what is the job? What is the title? What is the range? And then also, what is it in comparison to? Right. I always say, they give you more, take it. Because I don't have it.
Also, you don't know what I've done before. Yeah. What I've saved, what I've attained to be able to buy whatever I want, whenever I want. And it's none of your business.
It's none of your business. We're talking about something very specific and a specific, scope of work and a specific compensation. Right. And I think when other people do it, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay if some people just spend their whole summer in Europe, but if I spend a week in Europe, it's like, I can't believe you're in Europe. I'm like,
other people as in non-people of color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, never question.
Yeah.
And I have friends that I absolutely adore. And I'm like, I would love to, like, go on vacation and have full peace. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, why are you there? Like, why do I just be at work every day?
Right. Why do I have to work that hard?
Yeah. I even tell my team, I'm like, put in your PTO. Take the time off.
Yeah.
Like, everything will be fine.
So we started... like mental health breaks for our teams about 2 years ago. And I think in the beginning it was like, I don't know, our client's going to receive it. And we're like, we actually just need it for ourselves at this point. So we do a summer break and we do a winter break. So that, which is coming up. So that whole week before Labor Day and then the couple of days after, everyone gets at least 8 days off.
Nice.
And it's worked really well. It's such a great reset for the team. They feel appreciated as well. And as a team that's primarily like Black women, it's just like, okay, we are respecting ourselves and our bodies and holding space. We set those boundaries with our clients. They know it's in everybody's signature, like the month leading up to it. And it's fine.
I think a lot of companies, I have a client right now that has their summer recess for the week. And even though we're emailing them, we don't expect them to respond. Yeah. And then last week, another client had the whole week off.
Nice.
And so I'm seeing it a little bit more often, and I'll reward my team and I'll give them time off or, whatever to reset. But I'd love to really do that.
Yeah, like I kind of want it for myself now.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, they do leave early enough to enjoy like a 3-day weekend.
That's
and like
great.
Sometimes Monday at home.
Nice. So are you guys in office?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we have samples. We have products.
Right.
We're seating. Sorry, it came out so crazy. I would love to have like everyone work from home, but it's not like, what are you going to do? Take some racks home? Right. Like, you have to go in.
And be there. What brands are you working with now? What brands are in your
So we work with
showroom?
a couple of brands, Merida brands. We work with Daily Paper, and I think when we first met, I took them on a couple of years later.
Right.
And that's been really fruitful.
You've been with them for a while.
Yeah, it's a good partnership. Yeah. And I like clients like that where we work well together. We'll go at it like everyone else, right? We'll agree to disagree, but we'll also find pockets of joy with different partnerships and opportunities. We celebrate together. And I think that's really important. I do Honor the Gift, which is Russell Westbrook's brand. Do Giddy, which is Lizzo's brand. We have a couple of Scandi
signed
brands.
them recently, right?
A year ago, we did the launch and we're still here.
Okay.
Thank you. We have eyewear brand, Dita. We work with, as I was mentioning, a couple of Scandi brands. We have a couple of European brands, which is nice.
Yeah.
It is really nice because I definitely love the way European brands operate, the grace they give themselves to take breaks and reset and to think about things. So we're working with one that I don't know if I can mention it, but we're really excited about them.
Right.
We're doing 2 big projects in the fall with them. We work with footwear brands still. We dabble a little tech, like with Zellerfeld, and they do great collaborations. We launched them and have been doing releases for them. They launched with Harry Preston. They did an Ambush one. They did a Kid Super one. So it's great because we're always on our toes. Though we have all this Riot, I've been wearing Riot stuff before they became a client, and I'm like, oh my god, the thong bikinis that get me in trouble. But I'm just like, what is the trouble? You go on a beach and everyone's wearing bathing suits,
right?
And I just love Monty and her brand and how we can also again collaborate and find ways to move the needle. So we are about I'm going to say 15, 16 plus projects.
Wow.
And, being in New York and LA helps. And the team is great. So, it's been good. And there are other brands I'm eager to work with and communicate with, and I'm sure things will happen down the line. But the one thing I do like is organic relationships.
Yeah.
You
have a great foundation, foundation of brands and clients. And there's something you keep honing in on, which is just collaboration and respect. Can you talk a little bit about what makes the best partnerships for you and what allows you to even retain clients like Daily Paper and Honor for over a year and continuing?
Yeah, I mean, sneakers and stuff. I mean, we've been working on
for gosh. I went to the store the other day and I was like, me and Jarrell, remember Jarrell from Madison?
Yeah.
We went and we're like, this is Sandrine's client.
Yeah.
She opened this store. Remember that?
I mean, still to this day, one of the founders, I've seen him a couple of times. I mean, I remember when he told me he was leaving as day to day to be more on the board. Of course, you built it.
Yeah.
I'm crying. I'm I love you. We have that foundation of being good people to each other. Adore you, you respect me, there's love and foundation there, and giving me a chance. We met through someone who was coming on the team, who's still a friend of mine, who's still there. She's like, no, I trust her, we'll work with her. And it's a lot of that is what I've been working hard to get through the red tape. I'll do a strategy, that's understood, but it's different when people are but can you do that? But do you know them?
Right.
And just going, okay, I trust that we will, do our best here. Some things, in life just don't come out as you want them to, but if we at least try, then that's fine. And I think that is really important to me. And just people that like you.
Yeah.
I'm it's okay if you want to work with people that like you or that you enjoy their time and company. Most of my time is maybe a 2-hour lunch with a client, just shooting the shit, talking about things which will spark interest on what I can pitch, how I can, angle them, or someone says something oh, do you know my client? I think we should do this. Which turns into the partnership, the collaborations we do or what we bring to the table because we have a better understanding of what people want or what their wins look like. Yeah. I'm really a huge advocate. I like to work with people who like me, and I mean, literally, as a person, do you like me, or will you give me hell?
Yes, I'm always watching in those intro calls and those briefing calls. If I feel energetically you're about to bring hell our way, I'm politely bowing out.
Or I'll bow out once I feel it. If I feel you're not as organized as you should be, and you want me to double, triple my workload, I can respect
for no increase.
No increase. just a lot more work. I can respectfully say, I will see you soon. And I will, and I'll see you in the street and we'll be cool, but like, I'd rather not give myself the headache nowadays. And I think that's a learning curve too. Sometimes you just take it, it's like, I don't know, when's the next thing coming? But I'm like, no, I like to sleep peacefully. I'm gonna wake up and work out.
Yeah. How much time would you say you spend like networking and just having conversations and building relationships, building on your relationships?
I think I'm doing a better job now rebuilding on relationships and doing individual, because a lot of things ended up in groups. Everything at some point became like, oh, but we should have our X, Y, and Z too, because we're meeting like, okay, love them, but I don't know if we're going to have the same conversation. Or if I can pull from you what I'm trying to figure out what you're working on to see if maybe I could give it to you. You might not be as candid in front of people. And so I have been doing more individual check-ins, which I really do enjoy. Still do group things, but that comes with the nature of our beast, you know? Sometimes it's easier to check in with 5-6 people, but
definitely easier to do one-on-one. Last thing, if you have any type of advice to our listeners, a broad range of people that are tuning in. So people that are already in the industry, but maybe you're figuring out where they want to go, what's next, or how to elevate their business or their roles or positions, but then also some younger folks that are looking to break into the industry. So across the board, any advice that you would give, and what book or podcast are you reading or listening to?
My advice is still consistent. I think I did like Naomi's podcast like 4 or 5 years ago. It's like literally take the best, forget the rest. Like if someone pissed you off, like leave it alone. If you didn't get the job, it probably wasn't for you. Like a lot of things that I harped on. Like why did I get this? Or why did I get this client? I'm
why not me?
Yeah, and it's okay. Roll with the river instead of fighting with the rocks. Like where can I go and be champion? Where can I go and be respected? You know, versus just going, I really, really, really want this brand. It'll just do this for me. Something will do that for you. Like, I've learned that. Like, I promise.
It will come.
It does come.
Yeah.
It does come, and then they do come around. And that's the thing. So I've stopped fighting. And I think in terms of just, like, established professionals and people coming into the business, it's learning your industry. Learning the pay scale for a title, learning like what it takes to be in or on certain projects, then honing on the skill. I remember one time when I was at an agency and I just transitioned back from like working in-house in entertainment. I sat there and I learned everyone. The masthead, I was like, I'm typing it into Excel, I'm reading it. So like I don't remember. And that actually helped get me to where I was working on really great projects and bringing in different clients that I was really passionate about. But I had to re-educate myself. So don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to ask for help or tap into people that you trust. They don't need to know the full extent of your business or what you're asking for. I had a coffee earlier with a friend of mine. And like, I don't need to know the nitty gritty, but she's asking for help and I'm going to give it to her. She wants a connection, I'll give it to her. What do I get from hiding it? You know, it'll come back to me in tenfold. And what am I listening to? Every morning I listen to church.
Wow, okay.
I listen to Stephen Furtick. I listen to Change Church. I'm not really a transformation girly. It depends on what it is, what the subject matter is, for sure. I like Know For Sure podcast. I've been listening to Jason Lee's podcast. It's hilarious.
I just started watching his show.
It's good. I was like,
I wasn't sure, but I
really enjoy it. I try to streamline those. I listen to my friend Cammie's podcast, relationship. It's great just to hear people's perspectives. And I'm currently reading the 7 levels of intimacy or 7 something of intimacy.
My therapist just gave me that book.
It's great because
I haven't started it yet, though.
Not only for like your spouse or your partner, it's for work relationships. It's how you treat people in a grocery store. It's how you judge people when you go buy something.
Right.
And it's great. I highlighted all, and it's also a learning curve on how you have previously allowed people to treat you, and that goes across the gamut. how you like to present yourself and be treated. So 7 levels, how much you share with people.
Right, how you value interactions as well.
It's like level 1, just surface. I'm like, yeah, good morning, good night. That's all.
Keep it there.
Yeah, and you keep it there.
Yeah. Understanding also like the book, I just had a reading yesterday and he was talking about, I have therapy and you're a priest and I bounced back and forth between the two of them and we were talking about pockets or groups. So you have like your family, you have your close friends, you have your maybe loose friends, and then you have associates, right? And loose friends can also be dating, people come in and out of that, but really always being open to resetting people's positions within those circles based on your interactions, based on how they make you feel, how your body feels.
Like if you've ever been in shock around people, it's like new to me because it was like I was recently in shock. Like I would never. I was like, I don't know how to describe this.
Yeah.
But then also reset, and now it's like you're a little bit more balanced. Whether you change their position on the board, the board of chess or the board of life, and then bring people up. But I always now take inventory on how I feel. Like even now, I came in, I was so excited to see you, and I felt it was mutual. It's like take inventory on how I feel, so I'm not taking away bad vibrations and then bringing them to my next interaction with someone else. Unbeknownst to me, right? Because you're unsure of what's happening.
Yeah, and also sometimes those things, those vibrations happen maybe because you viewed your relationship in a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe you put them on a pedestal or you had a different view than...
Or you thought it was mutual. And again,
I was going to say then what they are looking at your relationship to be.
And it's not only in terms of romantic relationships.
Oh, yeah. No. Business, friends. Yeah.
And I really appreciate it more. So I'm finally happy that I'm finishing the book.
Yeah.
I've had the book for like a year. And
I have not started mine either.
I needed to. Yeah. And so I read it on the plane.
Me.
Do it. You're going to love it. Yeah. And I was influenced to open my book. I saw someone else reading. I was like, oh my God, I have that book.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely sitting on my nightstand.
Start it. You'll go through it very quickly.
Okay.
And that's the thing I like about it because I'm like, oh my God, I need to be more aware of how I do this or how I do that. And now I'm very much like a mouse. I'll give people things that are public, but nothing that, depending on the level.
That's a good lesson for me because I will just spill. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so passionate about whatever is happening. Just want to let everyone know. But even this, like...
No, keep it on the low. No one knows. You know who knows where I am? My assistant.
Yeah, exactly. I just broke it to my business partner like 2 days ago. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not going to be on set. Yeah.
And sometimes that's the foundation of the next level piece. And that's where I am. Yeah. Like I'm literally into the transition of my next stage.
Well, you're controlling your piece.
Controlling in a very much environment where I can... be myself candidly. Right. And I think a lot of times we present ourselves as like cut and dry because we have to do a job. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a person. And if you see me elsewhere and it's not work, then I would hope that, I would be myself.
Who I want to be. Yeah. And I not feel like I have to put on a show.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming as your full self here today.
Thank you.
And dropping all the gems. And just even for me, I've been watching your journey, but it's so nice to just hear everything that you've been building, even your client base. I'm so inspired by you.
I'm inspired by you. I'm so proud of you. Every time I see what you guys are doing, I'm like, yes, because I remember when we were in the trenches.
In the trenches with those evil people.
Yeah, without having to say we're in the trenches, right? Like, I think there's so much more now with stories and TikTok and like we were just like let me just do a post called it.
Oh my gosh, it's evolved so much. Sometimes I feel like old hag, so I'm like we're
still young. We really are. I think when we look above and below, like people coming up and the people that have come before us, like we're in a very sweet spot.
It's a good place to be. That's why we just have to keep pushing,
be very gracious,
uplifting each other, encouraging one another. I will never forget that was my last thing was watching Offset smoke a blunt at a runway show.
Goodbye.
I died. I was like, all the work that we do to create a show, he just smokes a blunt. I was so upset with my friend.
now it's like laughable, right? Like he's just living his life.
He is, just let him. But when I first saw that, that's when like I felt like an old hag. Like, I can't believe this man is doing this, disrespecting what people built.
And then people are like, I love this.
Exactly.
Like, great, so then I'm not worried.
Okay, so then I don't care.
Yeah, no. I love this for us. Gratitude, intention, growth. And then just helping people.
Continuously.
Yes. Amen.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you, my love.
And that is a wrap on this OK Copy podcast episode.